It would seem that scientists have brought back dire wolves from extinction after 13,000 years. A laboratory in Dallas where Colossal Biosciences says it brought the direwolf back to life, a species. Yep. All right, we gonna see. We gonna see what they talking about.
Remarkable scientific breakthrough. 13,000 years after the last dire wolf walked the earth, scientists say they've now brought them back. Here's our chief national correspondent back up and with the video tonight.
Tonight, a howl 13,000 years in the making. In a first for science, biotech company Colossal Biosciences says it brought the extinct direwolf back to life, a species that hasn't walked the earth since the Stone Age.
The direwolf is the first de-extinct species.
Well known from HBO's hit show Game of Thrones,
I thought that they would be
ABC News given exclusive access into Colossal's lab in Dallas, where scientists are using genes
maybe
from
those ones
gray
ain't fully
wolves
grown.
to create dire wolves.
We've taken a gray wolf genome, a gray wolf cell, which is already genetically 99.5% identical to dire wolves, and we've edited those cells at multiple places in its DNA sequence to contain the dire wolf version of the DNA. That animal looks like a dire wolf, it will behave like a dire wolf, and it is a dire wolf.
Now, 7 months old, direwolves Romulus and Remus eating well.
Okay, so what does that mean, though? Like, what is the purpose
David, the
of
company
this?
tells us they're not stopping there. They plan to have woolly mammoths roaming the earth again by 2028.
Oh,
but
hell
critics
no.
argue that this de-extinction could harm fragile ecosystems.
What?
David, yeah, the images are...
Woolly mammoths next. Hold on. These niggas might be tripping. They might be tripping.
The dire wolf hasn't been heard on planet
This is literally just for fun, basically. Like, just because they can. They're just seeing how far they can take the science. Like, there's no benefit to bringing them back. This specific, this particular species. Like,
or was.
they're not gonna really offer
Colossal
nothing that we don't have.
Biosciences is a Dallas-based company that's using genetic engineering to
But okay.
de-extinct long-gone species. And this is the first time Colossal's dire wolf pups, who are now 6 months old, have been seen by the public. Hey Ben, it's Jeff Kluger from Time Magazine. A pleasure to meet you. Tell me a little bit about what the goal is for de-extincting and rewilding ultimately. Why are you doing this work?
It became abundantly clear that we need new tools and technologies for conservation. And so we thought this was a really cool way that we could create value, create impact, inspire people, and then also hopefully thoughtfully rewild some of these species, which apparently will also have ecological benefits to these different potential ecosystems.
To try and do that, Colossal needed to understand dire wolves at a genetic level.
What kind of
The company
benefits?
has documented the process from the beginning and shared this footage with Time for a cover story. So can you tell me a little bit about what went into engineering the dire wolf?
We extracted DNA from 2 fossils that we knew from previous work had some amount of preserved ancient DNA. One was a 13,000-year-old bone, and the other was a 72,000-year-old bone, an inner ear bone. We were able to generate 2 genomes, 2 direwolf genome sequences from that, which we then compared to all the other wolves for which there's already been data generated. And when we do that, we want to figure out where it is that these 2 dire wolves are similar to each other, but different from the other wolves that are out there. And so we come up with this list of genes where they're distinct. Now, our goal in the Dire Wolf Project, just like with all de-extinction projects, is to re-engineer the core traits, the core characteristics that made these extinct species unique and able to fill whatever role that they filled in their ecosystems when they were still alive.
I
Using
do
this
want to
knowledge,
see
Colossal then made 20
woolly mammoths.
modifications
I want
to
to see
14 genes in the
because
DNA
with
of
these
common
niggas,
gray wolf.
it's like they look like, they don't really look special. Like I don't know what I expected out of a dire wolf. I just expected more than this. maybe bigger, like meaner looking, but like a woolly mammoth, I feel like that would be a clear difference between an elephant, and you would be like, all right, yeah, they're really working on something back here.
Wolf cells. These relatively few tweaks to the genetic code produce some big differences. The dire wolf's white coat, large size, characteristic vocalizations like that howling you heard at the beginning of the story, and more. That DNA was transferred to denucleated egg cells, meaning cells without their own genetic material, and then developed into embryos and were then implanted in the wombs of surrogate mothers, who were hound mixed dogs.
We didn't know how big these embryos would grow and wanted to make sure that the surrogate was healthy. So we picked large dogs.
Romulus and Remus, named after the Roman mythological twin brothers who were raised by a wolf, were born on October 1st, 2024. And in January, they were joined by a younger sister that the Colossal team named Khaleesi. Each wolf is on track to grow to as large as 6 feet long and 150 pounds.
That's like
Colossal
the size of a
is-
normal gray wolf, ain't it? Don't they max out at 150? I believe she said the point was they said that they have benefits to wherever they're going to be placed in the ecosystem, but they just haven't said what.
Isn't planning to reintroduce them to the
They
wild.
say benefits,
Instead,
but they have
the
not
3 dire
explained.
wolves will live out their lives on a fenced 2,000-acre preserve. Colossal does not want to disclose this location in order to protect the animals.
Of course.
I think these are the luckiest animals ever. They will live their entire life on this protected ecological reserve where they have all sorts of space and they have natural denning environment and they have a inclement weather hut that they can go and hide out in if they need to. They have 24-hour veterinary care.
Dire wolves aren't the only species on Colossal's de-extinction agenda.
An American company says it has genetically engineered mice so that they have developed some traits like mammoths.
A small but potentially important step in a quest to eventually bring back the prehistoric woolly mammoth.
They hope to de-extinct the woolly mammoth
What?
as early as 2028. The company is also hoping to bring back the dodo and
Okay,
the
y'all
Tasmanian
niggas is
tiger.
bullshitting. They be like, there's literally no benefit to bringing back dodos. They are, man, the most insignificant things to ever walk this earth. But the Tasmanian tiger, I do want to see. I'm not
Early
gonna
as
lie.
2028.
I feel like that would be cool.
The company is also hoping to bring back the dodo and the Tasmanian tiger. If some of this genetic tinkering feels familiar, it's because Hollywood has been here first. And spoiler alert, we all know that didn't end well.
Right.
So naturally, bioethicists have some concerns.
When you're playing with nature, nature usually wins. Nature is much more complicated than the ability of our brains to understand it. Genes do many things. There may be a lot of unintended consequences. Let's say we alter a gene to make extra hair or to make it burn metabolism more, burn fat more. Those genes may do other things in ways that we just don't even understand. So we may create animals that have lots of medical problems. If we start tinkering with genes, we may create a super mouse, a super rat that kills all the other animals around.
Okay, but like
But the team
realistically,
at Colossal says their mission
I'm
to
sure
restore
we
extinct
have the means to put a stop to it before it gets out of hand, right? If it's just an animal. But like you said, if they fucking bring back a woolly mammoth, accidentally give it armadillo skin or some shit, just completely armored out, then yeah, that's gonna be a problem.
species is also
Literally gonna
about
be
stopping the
bulletproof.
disappearance of endangered ones today, as experts predict Earth will lose 30% of its genetic diversity by 2050. Colossal has used techniques learned from the Dire Wolf Project to clone 4 red wolves, a small but important step in fortifying that endangered species. The 4 new wolves could help inject fresh DNA into the red wolf gene pool, which currently suffers from a so-called genetic bottleneck, the result of too few individuals carrying too little genetic variety to keep the species healthy.
Yes, it would be really amazing to see a mammoth. It would be great for the habitats of Tasmania to have a keystone predator reintroduced into that ecosystem. But the tools that we're developing on the path to these species have immediate application to species that are not yet extinct. A future that is both biodiverse and filled with people. We should be giving ourselves the opportunity to see what our big brains can do to reverse some of the bad things that we've done to the world already.
There's a huge need to help prevent animals from becoming endangered and going extinct. We need to spend more money on conservation. Particularly now, there's a lot of threats that lands that we have as national parks and there's preserves are going to be used for drilling oil, for instance. So there's a lot of habitats where species now live that are going to be under threat. So, and there's not enough money to help with conservation efforts.
Whether there will be a next generation of dire wolves naturally is not yet known. I doubt it. Like, I feel like this is something that could happen, like, yeah, just because it's cool to see, and they might do it, like, once for each, just to see if they can, but, like, I don't know if it can be sustained. Like, how do you expect them to repopulate just off of, like, the few that you created? It's just not gonna, I don't think it's gonna last long. But, yeah, man, dire wolves brought it back. Got some new patch notes.